Hi, I'm Julie Zeilinger. I founded a blog called The F-Bomb, which is thefbomb.org, and it's a blog for young feminists. And I started it when I was in high school, and now I'm a college student at Barnard. And it still exists to this day and takes submissions from young feminists, and everyone should write for it. I also wrote a book called A Little Left Up, Why Feminism Is Not a Dirty Word, which is about feminism and why feminism is still necessary for our generation. And then I just wrote another book called College 101, A Girl's Guide to Freshman Year, which is, like it sounds, a guide for young women to their freshman year of college. And I believe in feminism because I believe in equality for all people and think it's a conversation that our generation needs to continue and is still very relevant for us.
So, why do you believe in feminism? Like, what particularly about it? Like, why does it speak to you so much?
Well, because I think we all experience discrimination and notice inequality in this world, and I think that we should all be working actively to fight against it. And I think it's incredibly there are a lot of myths out there that we're post-feminist, that we've achieved equality, and that everything is great. And there are statistics and anecdotes and personal experiences that clearly show that that is not the case, which my friend Eleni can actually speak to as a woman in accounting.
Yeah, so something that's interesting about accounting is that it starts off where there's actually a gender balance, and then the women all trickle out of accounting, and that's because they don't have friendly networking events, for example, for women. And you know, why would you stay if you don't feel like you're being valued? So,
yeah, that's just one example. Like, there's so many industries where, as we were saying before, like there's more subtle discrimination. Like, there's definitely a wage gap still, and there are really blatant forms of sexual discrimination and so on. But it's also just this more general feeling that there are different expectations for women, and women are treated differently in the workplace and beyond.
How do you think feminism has evolved, like in the past decade or so?
I mean, there's undeniably been progress. Like, if you look decades ago and like into the 1950s and the way women were relegated to the households, like, we definitely have achieved a lot, and that we're able to be in the workplace in general, and that we even make up the majority of undergrads in most colleges. But at the same time, there's still, as we were saying, a ton of discrimination, and maybe it's just more subtle in this day and age. It's not.
But I feel like feminism now is actually more about a right to choose instead of a right or just fighting for basic rights.
Yeah,
like now it's like, do you want to work or do you want to stay at home?
Right, like I feel like in the 1970s they definitely achieved a lot of like political, legal, even economic rights, but now we're trying to figure it out like on a social, cultural level, like especially with these having it all debates lately. It's like, what does it mean to be a wife and a mother and a working woman in this day and age? Like, how do we balance that? It's not necessarily about, do we need a law for this? It's about figuring it out amongst ourselves.
So where do you think feminism will go in the next 10, 20 years?
Well, hopefully we'll continue to tackle those questions and figure out a more equal way of existing on a social level as well as a political, economic.
I agree with that.
Yeah.